This is going to be a hybrid attack coming in, and this is, I would say, this and Yeti Smash are the two kind of meta attacks in the game at the moment. And the hybrid is a very safe attack where the miners can help go and activate the town hall, and the hogs can help charge in. But let's take a look at what Jag does. He sends the queen straight into the single target inferno and has two super wall breakers. The first one to get the queen into this section, and then waiting until this queen at least takes this cannon down, so then he can direct the super wall breaker deeper into the space. So we're gonna have to wait and take a look. There's the cannon. He's waiting for this bottom one to go down, and now if he drops this next super wall breaker and the expo goes down, it should target up top, and let's see where he drops it. There it goes, all the way up to this expo to continue this queen walk all the way straight up. Uses the siege barracks with the king down south to set this funnel to then force the hybrid straight into the middle. And the enemy king, the queen, all down here. You do have to keep your eye on the queen while she's charging up. Got to keep your eye on that king to make sure you pop that king ability early so he gets that value. Wizards come around to help set the funnel. And once it's set down south, you can send the hybrid right in between. And one of the very nice things about sending the hybrid because you also want to have that royal champion going in behind, the hogs and the miners will distract any single target infernos that could potentially lock onto that royal champion. And you really want to save potential phrases unless you need to use it for the queen to get into her charge, which he ended up doing. And a beautiful warden internal tome through the town hall. Had some yetis, so normally you might see some hog riders inside of the siege barracks, which I think he wanted to make sure that the queen did charge in. So then you could potentially see a blimp yeti at worst case scenario, and to make sure you get that 2-star. But he saw the queen got so much value that he could just switch it up to sending the siege barracks. Yes, there's yetis, they're going to move around, help with cleanup on the outside, but Jaguar with a beautiful hybrid attack here. The royal champion will go down, does get her ability off for a little bit more damage, takes out Archer Tower and Tesla up top, but just too much hogs and miners left. It's going to be a beautiful 3-star, which they ended up with 14 in this war. Unbelievable.
All right, so we're starting this one out, and there is 1 P.E.K.K.A, 5 healers, 5 Yeti, 7 bowlers. I'm going to learn something from this attack myself with that centralized town hall. Now, you guys mentioned it, how that Grand Warden got massive value. I mean, this attack took a long time to get going, but the Warden took out a bunch of structures. That Warden was invincible up there, getting close to death a few times, or a little too close for comfort, but was able to push on through, taking out everything in the northernmost compartment. That one wizard over there as well, we can't count him out. He's getting some great value also, starting to set things here for that funnel. Now with the town hall in the center, you need to be careful, and that's why I like seeing the wrecker. Another weird thing happening in this attack, we don't see many wall wreckers being used. We're going to have that super wall breaker open up the initial wall, and then the wall wrecker trail in behind. The Warden is now going nice and safe with his crew going through that initial break, and we also have that wrecker, like I said, coming on in. Bowlers trailing behind, and things are looking really nice. I loved seeing this centralized part of the base. There's not really a lot going on there. A lot of structures are on the outside. So once this kill squad was able to get near that town hall, it was pretty much GG. We knew that the bowlers were going to be able to take down both the Eagle and that town hall. They are all raged up, and boulders under rage, Yeti under rage, Yetimite under rage are just insanely strong. The base has already been gutted. There's nothing more in the center, so it's all the exterior. So I'm looking at the Inferno Tower, which is always a little scary, plus that scatter shot since we're working with the bats. But the Royal Champion was both tanking and the free spell was being used. A little bit of double protection there, which, as you guys mentioned, may have been a bit of an issue on the back end. But the bats got a lot of value. They were able to take out 8 or 9 defenses along the way, possibly more because I wasn't actually counting. But, you know, and we still had the Queen up there, and she used her ability to take down that Inferno Tower, which is always a bit scary. Actually, her ability is still intact, so it was just her sheer power. 1 balloon, hero ability still intact. The bats, I believe, go down to something over here. I think it may have been the Wizard Tower, or did they stay up? They stayed up. I mean, this was just such a fun attack. We had the Wrecker, we had bats, and the rest is history right now. It's just the bats cleaning up the base with the remainder of the kill squad.
Came in with the hybrid in this one. Echo, he dropped that rage spell really early, and he did find a tornado trap, which the Queen was able to charge straight into here.
Yeah, he did. He went aggressive from the start, and it ended up paying off in the end. And there's that rage spell being dropped. The balloon, the queen is going to go in, take out the champion, getting tied up a little bit on those skellies. And like you said, that tornado trap. I guess Bomb was waiting for someone to go in that side of the base, basically anticipating it. But the king is going around funneling the west. The baby dragon is getting value and going to get more value helping out in the clan castle when that ends up popping out. And the queen is doing a beautiful job. And another super wall breaker coming in, being placed perfectly, opening up the base, lowering the clan castle. Now the queen just has to deal with that with the help of her baby dragon right next to her.
Yes, absolutely. And has a beautiful freeze for the clan castle. And the beautiful thing about this was that Super Wall Breaker, like you mentioned, opened up that core of this base, which allowed the queen to completely gut it. We'll keep an eye on the queen because she does go down, and it came down to the very end. And the Grand Warden and just a very few troops were the final things because, hey, they technically didn't necessarily know if they needed a triple or not, but coming in clutched it no matter what because the final attack from NA Cup was a triple indeed, and the queen does go down here, but the hybrid going into the Eagle Artillery was clutch to take all the value down, especially a scatter shot up there.
Yeah, it was a heavy portion of the base that they were going into right off the bat, but I love the idea that Jaguar had of getting that taken out of the way early, get the miners and hogs in there with the Grand Warden's Eternal Tome ability, and let them path on through. But I think the charge in the beginning was great. The entrance of the hogs and miners was amazing, but the Warden was the hero at the end. For once, he's actually going for the one things he needs to shoot in the base, and that was the final defense, which ended up pulling in the triple. And right there, we have a whole bunch of hogs, miners, and the champion taking down the scatter. We're getting on top of that multi-target Inferno and the enemy king. There's not much left of the base here. We weren't 100% sure yet, Carbon, but in the end, it did get done. I mean, we got to look at that Warden be clutch in the very end.
Yeah, look at this Warden come in and help assist this Royal Champion here. If this Warden wasn't here, this Royal Champion would have been killed offhand. Who knows if this Warden wouldn't be able to survive? And he targeted straight onto that Tesla right there, which helped get Jaguar this 3-star. It's just a matter of cleanup right now.
Coming in with the 1 Valkyrie, the 3 Lava Hounds, an Ice Golem, 26 Loons, a Super Wall Breaker. And I hear from watching you guys cast that something amazing happened in the center of this base with that Lava Hound pulling out some mines. Coming in with the early Royal Champion with that Ice Golem tanking nice and early. I love this right now. The Champion's being used early to help clear some things out. Not always what you're going to see, especially when you're looking at this Sui Lalo, but we've been talking so much about the value that people are getting from these Sui attacks, and this is one of the good examples of that. Royal Champion taking down one of the mightiest defenses at Town Hall 13 in that scatter shot. The minions already up there cleaning up things in the top northern part of that base. Looks like a little bit of that clan castle was lowered, and now the king is dropped down below. Super Wall Breaker being dropped in as well to open up that compartment. We have a giant, we have a king, and the queen diving in there. Look at that. The enemy queen's in there as well, going to be taken down along with that single target Inferno Tower. Really getting that value. Now, there's no healers on this. It's up to the queen to get as much value as she can before she goes down. Nice job with those freeze spells as well. The queen, she's going to be popping her ability. Can she get the enemy queen? I remember this was just such an exciting point right here, and the queen does take down the enemy queen, and that was just a clutch move. Now the north and southern portions of the base are taken down. The blimp is going to come on in with those balloons and with the dragon, taking it down so quickly under rage. And now it's Lava Hound time coming in from the western side of the base. Support behind with those balloons, and the Lava Hounds do a great job with this tank. Now my eyes right now are looking for these air mines that Carbon was talking about. I definitely heard it when I was sitting watching you guys, and I want to make sure that everyone can see that happen now. Lava Hound's going to make its way forward. Balloons, so many balloons with the Grand Warden. Something else I remember, and there they all go. Looks like 4 of them all taking out the Lava Hound, but protecting those balloons. And if you take a look right here, the Grand Warden's ability still intact with 60% of the base taken down. Make that 59%. A few back-end loons, a couple of minions, 2 freeze, and a haste. And the rest of this thing here was cleanup.
We're going to jump into Agent's attack here, and this was an unbelievable queen charge into Hogs, and he ended up swagging a free spell of how strong this was. So let's take a look. Dropping this queen right down here at 6 o'clock. And he has a combination of sneak goblins and a super wall breaker, which is really nice, especially if you don't use that super troop from the previous week. Queen's going to be able to charge straight into this town hall section, and the value that she's going to get, the single target inferno, the clan castle allure, a scatter shot, the town hall, a bomb tower. Every single one of those buildings is something that would be devastating to hogs, and that's why this charge was so valuable. If this bomb tower was probably moved somewhere else on the space, it would have been a lot deadlier against hogs, but Agent recognizing that this queen charge was so valuable in here, and plus the sweeper was not pointing back onto these healers in this direction to keep the queen alive. And actually, just barely, the healers actually went that way, but one shot down it goes. Tornado Trap brings the queen a little bit closer to this town hall. But look at the Sisu lure. Gonna be able to get the Archer Tower, the Scatter, and everything through here. King cleared this whole bottom side, and then it made a beautiful path for the hogs to go straight for the Seagull Artillery. He's just being patient to make sure that this town hall does go down, drops the freeze, saves onto that queen ability. Once he's like, all right, the town hall is down, I can drop that siege barracks with the P.E.K.K.A up top, and he's going to send those hogs right in between. The queen clears the clan castle, no problem, with the poison. And then he's going to pop this Grand Ward Internal Tome nice and early to protect these hogs as they go step up into this section, which he was thinking maybe there's some giant bombs right after that Eagle Artillery gets through here with another heal he can use up top. Freezes beautifully through this scatter shot. There's the heal spell. Queen stays alive, aggroes this Expo down here, so won't even be on these hogs. Plus more hogs come out of the clan castle. Just such a beautiful attack. Doesn't even need to use this freeze spell, and an overwhelming 3-star right here with the queen charge hogs. And that's why I've said the queen charge hogs, I think, is stronger than the hybrid, but the hybrid is a safer attack strategy, because the miners can activate the town hall and get you the 2-star if possible, if needed. But man, unbelievable attack. Agent absolutely takes that base down.